This is the review of the 2015 Infiniti Q50. It's a car that I wanted to test for a while. From the outside, at least, it looks pretty good. A little bit conservative, but very sexy, I think. And you can't fault it from every angle. It looks pretty good. Now, this car comes in a base model. There's the limited and there's the sport. This is sort of like the all-wheel drive limited, which goes for a reasonable $45,000. There's also like a tech package that's included with that might not be as necessary, which has a bunch of safety features and like blindside detector, all-around view camera. But in this model, it's a $45,000 does come with a big Bose sound system. Now that's a substantial value versus its competitors. The wheels look good, the 19-inch, and they brake pretty well. It has a lot of competitors, this car, so it's sort of like the World War III in this compact luxury sedan category. The trunk is a reasonable size. The hinges don't intrude, so makes it pretty good for the category. There are two straps to pull down the seats, except I can't see the gap for the 60/40, but apparently this is a 60/40 seat. I didn't test it. The door design with the optional package with the maple wood is incredible. It looks amazing. Going on the inside, this car does have quite a bit of room. It's a very reasonable room for normal sized people. Very good for the class. This is compact after all. The leather quality is very good. They've got that nice white stitching everywhere. Very comfortable rear seats, I would have to say. Each with their individual headrest. Look, again, the interior door design is just freaking awesome. Rear vents for the rear passengers for their comfort. Very good, very good. Once again, I took another shot of the door, which has to be the best looking door I've ever seen, perhaps with the exception of the Mercedes C-Class. It really looks good. The front passengers are reasonably comfortable. The seats are comfortable, but they're not the best. It seems to me every single other one of its competitors, with the possible exception of the IS, is better. So yeah, that's the interior comfort. However, noise, vibration, harshness is very good. It's Japanese level, let's just say, and that's very good. Look at that! Look at the finish here. They're animals. They're freaking animals. I couldn't get over this door. I'm sorry, I'm tripping for this door, but it looks amazing. Even Ross, who by the way, shout out for the car in the comments, thought they were nice too. Center console with that optional wood trim is very nice. It's very classy. The shifter doesn't feel that great though. Like all the cars in this segment, you feel at home fast. There's even like the personal drive selecting, which is the style now, which really manages the control weights in this car. So the two screen center dash looks great. The gauges do look up at you. However, the little trim around the gauges are a little bit tacky. Center screen is very nice. Overall, the interior is pretty good. It's not the best, but it's pretty darn good for the price. The engine is an old workhorse. It does the job. It makes a nice noise on acceleration, and it gets meh fuel economy. Here's my thoughts on the road. Okay, the review of the Infiniti Q50, a car I've been wanting to drive, and Ross has too. Right off the bat, and I know I said it on the overview, I find the exterior of the car is very good. It has it's just the right size, you know. It's not too big. It's low to the ground, but not too low. It's just right, you know. Here on the inside, a little bit more of a mixed bag. This thing has the worst steering wheel in the category. The leather is so cheap. I don't know what happened. It has the nice contrast stitching. It's the good size. Everything's fine, but I think that in this $40,000 to $50,000 price range, you can't have the cheap steering wheels. You just can't do that. Having that said, we have the model with the Bose sound system, and Ross was making the remark, it's like every time we get into a car with a Bose sound system, it sounds very good. And I think what makes Bose sound, I think maybe a little bit better than the others, is that it plays so well and clearly at low to medium volume. And that's where your volume's at, right? It has a lot of bass. It plays the dance music very well, and heavy bass music, whatever the type of music it is you listen to. but it's the clarity that's very good. I'm not saying it's the best, it's just very good all the time. The dash layout is very nice. The two center console screens are high resolution, good looking. The front gauges look at you straight in the face. They look okay-ish. They're not amazing, but they look okay. The materials on the side door panels are exceptional, up and above everyone else. The design language of the wraparound is not, I don't know, it's not perfect. It's not, especially on the passenger side, I find like it digs in a lot, the dash. It's roomy, but not aesthetically pleasing. The seats are relatively comfortable, but definitely not the best. I've sat in more comfortable seats. The leather is excellent. Nice perforated leather in the middle, solid leather on the outside. That's the style right now. I think that's the way it should be. When you're sitting here, it's pretty comfortable. I'm resting here quite comfortably. The shifter, that's another touch point which I find is okay. It's maybe not the best. It's not very solid. It doesn't have like that, I don't know, that tight feel like other things. However, I'm touching these different dials and the touch points are very good. Oh. Driving in the city, this car suspension doesn't beat you up, so it's pretty good for that. And it's competent. It's like every single Nissan I drive, they're very competent vehicles. Like you can tell they're I call them the professional car company. I mean, they do things, they do just enough, you know. And I would have to say that apart from the maybe not tightish feel of the shifter and the worst steering wheel ever, which is a lot, this is a pretty good interior. I think it's better than the Caddy. I think it's better than the Caddy ATS. And it's probably it's better than the TLX. I think it has more of a wraparound feel. It feels more substantial. The rear seats are pretty good. There's plenty of room for the class. And there's plenty of leg room. I tried them before and they're fine. The engine sounds okay. It has a nice sound. You know, they really put a nice sound on that. That kickdown just falls when you're doing 100 kilometers an hour on the good gear to accelerate good up to 140 kilometers an hour. That's not what I just did. I did from 60 to 100 there. However, I have a Lexus IS right in front of me right now, and I have to say that that car looks a little bit better and drives a bit more sporty, if that's your thing, but it doesn't beat you up. So this is where this car stands. It's sort of like Ross was saying, it's in between the Acura TLX and the Lexus IS, and I think that is the best description I ever heard for it. I mean, that's exactly what it is. I've driven all those cars except the TLX, but I do own a TL, and he drove the TLX, so we can sort of like combine our experiences together to come up with a statement like that.